What's going on? What's going on? Give me a couple of seconds. I had a pop up I need to get rid of. Hold on 1 second. It just came up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to do. Please forgive me. I'm not tech savvy. I can fix your house in a jiffy. But when it comes to computers and technology, it's almost like you are speaking French to me. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. So that's out the way. Um, Sorry about that, people. I do apologize for that. Um, we're getting started. Thank you for coming in. Shout yourselves out. Once you come in, I will appreciate it. Um, I want to know who's watching. I want to know who I'm interacting with and all that good noise. Um, Miss Carla, hello. Thank you so very much for shouting yourself out. Hoping everybody come in later on. First of all, shout out to my cousin Andre Mills for coming in last week. We had a great conversation last week. If you missed it, if you missed the conversation last week, please go back and watch that conversation. It was great. Um, I was going to be on what type of time he was going to be on, and he was on his mature stuff, so I was on my mature stuff. Uh, so that's it. That's all. Um, so you know who this is already. Hashtag Miss Come On to the Temple. And we are here on another Wednesday night. I hope that your week so far has been productive. I hope that your week has been what you expected it. I hope that you've done something productive with your time. Hoping that something you did, something that you actually wanted to do this week, and not just something you had to do this week. So, um, if you do not know, we are on multiple streaming platforms, multiple social media platforms. We're on YouTube at the Temple dash lowercase I, the number one, lowercase u. That is at the Temple dash lowercase I, the number one, lowercase u. If you do not have YouTube and you don't have Facebook, then we are also on Instagram. Instagram at Thomas TJ West. That's again, if you're watching on Instagram and you prefer Instagram. I know some people that do. Then we are on Instagram at Thomas TJ West. And if you are like my son Nathan, who has TikTok, I am on TikTok as well. We're on TikTok as well at TJ West on TikTok. And while I'm on him, I always shout out my daughters because me and my daughters, we have a special relationship. We talk on a regular basis. But today I got a notification and I knew the profile picture and I knew who it was. So shout out to my son for making my video in his TikTok favorites. I appreciate that. So appreciate that. Shout out to my son for doing that. Pray for the co-host. She's going through some issues right now. I've talked to her a little earlier, and I will talk to her after the video is done. But she's going through right now, and tonight we'll give her some grace because I know what's going on. Now, this is still April. April is still Stress Awareness Month, but I want to deal with this topic in a different manner. I was watching a movie with my lady on Sunday, and the movie was called Divorce in Black. Hey cousin, how you doing? The movie is called Divorce in Black. So the first scene is a funeral scene, and there's this mother that has just boys, and she played her part well. She was a very brash, mean lady. She was the type of person that is easy to hate. But I had a thought, or I'll say that a thought reoccurred in my mind after watching the movie Divorce in Black. I do. If you have not seen it, please go look at it. It's a good movie. The overall message I do agree with, I believe in, and I promise you, I may have some more topics just on the movie. But the health tip is coming from the mother who was easy to hate. This lady was mad. She was mean. She was mad. She had a lot of issues that showed up in the movie. And I began to think about something, right? It's easy. We're dealing with stress. It's easy to hate on someone, to get upset with someone, to judge someone, to dismiss someone that acts out. We see people that act in a certain, what up, G? We see someone who acts in a certain manner, and it's always easy to judge that person, dismiss that person, talk bad about that person. What we do not do, and this is where April stress awareness comes in. We look at the fruit that we can see. Yes, look alive. The congregation is here. We judge the fruit that we can see, but we never look at the root. My question to myself after watching that movie, what caused this mother in the movie to be how she is today? Because you don't come out the womb that mean. You don't come out the womb that mad. So before she got to where she was when we saw her in the movie, when she was brash, when she was mean, when she didn't care what people thought about her or her family, what caused her to go that way? However, we as people, we don't care about what brought a person to have this negative fruit about them, because we only look at the fruit but never want to get to know the root cause of what's going on. So, the health tip for tonight, whenever you see someone, alcoholic, drug abuser, you see someone who's always mad, you see a person who's always problematic, learn to look for the root of the problem and look past the fruit, because there's a reason the person is acting in this manner. And we, as people, we really don't care because we're so busy judging people on the fruit of what they're showing us versus what caused them to act this way. So please learn to look for the cause and not just judge the effect. That is your health tip for tonight. I'm ready to get into the video. And because I'm alone tonight, this should not be long. The topic for tonight is for better or for worse. For better or for worse. People get married on a regular basis. They get married and they look at marriage as a beautiful thing. So I want to read to you the traditional wedding vows. And then I will get into the video. Please share this video if you can. I want people to come on in. So please share the video. I've never asked that before. I promise you I have not. If you look at my content, you know I've never asked you to share the video. Also, shout out to us. We've been online for 10 years. We've been online for 10 years. We've been on the actual platform, the temple, for 6, but me speaking on the internet has been 10 years. So we are celebrating 10 years on the internet. But please share the video tonight. I want people to see what's going on. If you can, once you come in, let's chart yourselves out and share the video. The traditional wedding vows goes as follows. I, whatever your name is, take you, the person you're getting married to be my wedded, we're going to say partner, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, in death, do us part. More argument tonight. And before, appreciate it, Robert, thank you. Before anyone gets into a tizzy and feels some type of way, I am guilty. And the difference between me and other social media platforms is I don't mind calling myself out when I know I've done wrong, even if I'm speaking against the wrong I've done. I've never pretended that something I've done was right, and then I talk about it later on and I forgot to mention, hey, I'm guilty. So the argument tonight, people get married without understanding the vows. People get married without understanding the vows. Let me preface this by saying this statement. So this is my disclaimer, if you will. I am not telling anyone out there to stay in a marriage where you're getting your behind tore the heck up. That's wrong. If you're getting beat on a regular basis, get your ass out. I can't say no plainer. If you are getting your behind toe all the way up, get out. You don't need to stay. So with that disclaimer out the way, people use the worst times as an excuse to leave the marriage. So Yeah, run from massa. Yes, run from massa. I don't care who massa is. People use the worst times to give an excuse to leave the marriage. The first question I have to ask, and if anyone in the congregation, because G said you're not in chat, if anyone in the congregation wants to answer this question, I promise you I will put your answer on the screen and we can discuss it. What in the world is irreconcilable differences? What are irreconcilable differences? A lot of people who get divorced, they get divorced under the guise of irreconcilable differences. So while I'm waiting on you to answer that question, marriage, because the word irreconcilable differences. So you cannot reconcile your differences. All right. So marriage, according to the vows that you lied about when you went from the church or the courthouse and all these friends and family and folks you don't really care about, is supposed to be about two different people with two different upbringings and two different mindsets to come together as one to accomplish one goal. I'll say it one more time. Marriage is supposed to be about two different people with two different upbringings and two different mindsets to come together as one to accomplish one goal. So when you say that you have irreconcilable differences, does that mean you forgot the goal you were trying to accomplish? Because from the very beginning, you came in as two different people. One person was raised in a two-parent household. The other person might have been raised in a one-parent household. One person might be raised in the ghetto. The other person might be raised in suburbia. One person might have been a double doors and rode a short bus. The other person was a 4.2 GPA student. You still come together as one to accomplish a goal. TJ, before you move on to your next point and the reason for the video, what is the goal? The goal is to come together, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. And your goal is to come together and build a life that you can share with your children and grandchildren that you could not do by yourself. Unfortunately, we're not all going to be able to be Robert Kraft. We can't be Jerry Jones. We can't all be LeBron James. So therefore, since we by ourselves can't be these people, we come together to obtain a life where together we can raise kids and leave something for them. That's your goal. I don't give two craps about what people say society is making people do. There's a reason that people deem marriage as important. And if you're too freaking selfish to see the reason why, that's on you. but don't blame society for your mental failures. Get into the video. For better, yes, goals change as we have better understanding of life. We do. They do. But dare I say that the goal still should be to come together and accomplish something positive. That also goes to when I'm against, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, I'm against that if I choose to, just up and change, I want to live this healthy lifestyle. I don't need to leave my wife because she does not share the same sentiment. Doesn't make sense to me. Just doesn't. And I've seen it happen. So, for better or for worse, let's get into it. I've gave my disclaimer already. If you have not heard the disclaimer, then go to the beginning of the video and you'll get the disclaimer. However, let's talk about another issue in marriage. Cheating. And I promise you, I miss somebody being online right now with me. I ain't lying to you. My personal thoughts on cheating is this. If you're caught cheating, leave the situation. Not because you cheated, not because you can't change from cheating or you're remorseful or you're doing better, or my reasoning for that is that if you're caught cheating and you're doing better and you actually are remorseful, I'm not talking about people who cheating and cheating and you just gonna continue to cheat and you're not gonna stop cheating. That's a different story. I'm not on that type of time. But you're cheating and all this carrying on. I'm gonna get to you in a minute, G. You're cheating, carrying on, all this carrying on, and you're now actually remorseful. You're sorry. The person you cheated on is going to keep you in jail. They're going to punish you longer than a person who gets convicted of first-degree murder. They're going to keep punishing you because they are hurt. I'm going to put your they're hurt. So because they're hurt, they're going to continue to punish you on a daily basis. And once again, I love Lynn Toler. If you never watched Lynn Toler in action, I wish you could have seen her because she always said it the best. I'm going to use her phrase. You are punishing this person 364 days of the year on the onset of him doing something wrong on the last day of the year. In other words, he's doing great for 11 months and 30 days. 11 months, 30 days. But you're punishing him for 11 months and 30 days on the chance that he'll mess up on the 31st day. This is why I encourage, if you get caught cheating, to leave. However, for better or for worse, may I submit to you that for the person who got hurt, and before I even deal with the person who got hurt, let's go here. I want to dispel a lie that I'm sick of hearing from people. Okay. I got you. Oh, wait. Let's go here. All right. G says horrible gambling problems, horrible living habits, piss poor parenting, cannot think for themselves, have to rely on family to make decisions. Just a few differences that are irreconcilable. Okay, cool. So, Mr. G, should we not then, if we believe in this tract, go away from the traditional wedding vows and write your own? And just be honest. I do solemnly swear to stay with you unless you have a gambling problem, unless you have piss poor parenting, unless you can't think for yourselves, unless you always go to your family. Can we not add that to the vows? Why can't we? And I'm going back to the cheating in a minute. I promise you I am. Why can't we, if we refuse to do something? A contract is a contract. I don't know how many of you have actually been part of a contract, signed a contract, written a contract, but the terms of the contract. This also goes for what's the boy? The boy that plays for Timberwolves, Minnesota. What's the boy name? Anthony Edwards. This also goes for Anthony Edwards' baby mama. Once you've put your name on a contract, the contract is the contract. If you cannot abide by the terms of the contract, then you need to put something in the contract you can abide by. The original said for better or for worse. For better or for worse. To spell out, I hate hearing people say that you are not sorry. You're just sorry you got caught. How do you know that? Like, how can you who say that I can't dictate how long you hurt, I can't dictate how much you hurt, then how can you dictate my apology? How can you dictate what I'm apologizing for? But you're quick to say you're not sorry, you're just sorry you got caught. Well, if I'm not sorry, are you really hurt? Because since you are trying to dictate my apology, that gives me room to dictate your hurt. I'll go on. I'll go ahead. So, too many people that go and make these wedding vows. These wedding vows in front of all these people that you really don't care about. Thank you, congregation. Okay, let me warm it up. I'll cook in a minute. What I'm saying, G, is that if you make a vow, you sign a contract, then the contract really is the contract. So if even in a what's I'm looking for when you sign a what's it called when you sign the thing before you get married? Well, I can't think of it right now, but some kind of agreement. The woman can also put her terms and conditions in that agreement. If you cheat on me, I get this. Yeah, no, not an NDA. Before you get married, it's a Matter of fact, Dak Prescott, his girl, they got separated because she just, yeah, a prenup. Thank you, a prenup. Even in a prenup, each person should be able to put what they want in the prenup before anybody signs it. Therefore, when you sign that prenup, it should be satisfactory to both parties. Cool. So now I'll get what I want, you get what you want, and then we're going to act the freaking accordingly. Janet Jackson signed a prenup. The man asked her for two things, sorry. Married for 5 years, give me a child, and you'll get this amount of money. What did Janet do? Janet stood there for 5 years and gave that man a baby. Prenup. It was satisfactory to both parties. Because once you sign a contract, the contract is the contract. So if you have a problem with the for better or for worse ideal, then draw up your own freaking contract. Back cheating. You get cheated on. Cool. It happens. Folks cheat every freaking day. No lie. Regular thing. If cheating was a deal breaker for you, you should put it in the contract of marriage. Because that's the worst. But people use cheating as a reason to dissolve a marriage. And it's sad that because, yes, every day, every hour on the hour, they listen, you're exactly right. It's sad to me that we have become so indignant of human behavior that we're treated good. We're taken care of. They come home every night. They take us on trips. They do special things for us. But because they stepped out physically. Now, if they step out emotionally, then that's another conversation. I'll deal with that when Caitlin is on. I will deal with that when Kay is on. I'm not going to deal with it right now. But they step out just physically, not emotionally. Then you use that as a reason to leave the marriage. When you said for better or for worse. What's worse than cheating? What's worse than going out in these streets and putting yourself with somebody else? What's worse than that? Besides, once again, I'm not dealing with physical abuse. That's a non-debatable. That's a non-negotiable. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not telling no one. And listen, if you listen to me, people on Facebook, people on YouTube, people on TikTok, people on Insta, if you are in a marriage, if you are in a relationship that you're getting your behind tore up, please leave. I'm begging you. If you need the resources, reach out to me. I will send you the resources you need to leave. I don't want you to stay. I just heard a story the other day that a man, he unalived his lady. He unalived his lady, baby mama, his 7 kids, and someone else's child. Then he unalived himself. If you are going through abuse, this is your public service announcement. Please leave. I'm begging you. And again, if you need the resources, please, if you can't do it, talk to your family, talk to your friend, talk to your neighbor. Have them reach out to me. I will give them the resources for you to leave. That's not the way. You got cheated on. And you see that as the worst thing that can happen. But you said in your vows for better or for worse. It's a freaking excuse to leave marriage. Because once again, if you can't deal with it, then put it in the vows, put it in the contract. Any contract that is signed, it should be uh, satisfactory to both parties. If you have a one-sided party contract, don't sign the contract. But you just want to say you got married. Yay, I got married. Yeah. But you don't really understand what the vows are saying. They get sick, you want to leave. You go through bad times, you want to leave. Things not going your way, you want to leave. You felt some type of way and he didn't show up for you, or she didn't show up for you the way you wanted them to show, you want to leave. That's not what marriage is, people. It's not. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news and break your hearts. Then I'm not. I'm not. Marriage should be much deeper than just what you want. And if you are a selfish if you are a selfish person, you don't need to get married. Point blank, period. If you think that everything should just go your way, don't get married. It's just that easy. Because the good times are great. New Edition says everybody loves sunshine, but can you stand the rain? No one wants to stay in the rain. Yeah, a lot of people just want the wedding. The wedding looks good. It's great for, especially in the social media age. Especially in this social media age where you got pictures and you get the likes and the hearts and the congratulations. Like it ups your dopamine in your brain. But the marriage is much deeper than the wedding. Marriage is deeper than the wedding. So please, when you go up to the judge or to the pastor and you are about to agree to the lie you're about to agree with, at least be like the lady who I saw in the video when it says to honor and obey, and she said honor and obey who, and they had to move past that part. She didn't agree. If you cannot agree to the terms of a contract, take it out. It's all good. I get it. I dig it. It's all right. But don't sign a contract and make vows you can't keep. keep my co-host in prayer. I'm about to call her in a few minutes to see how she's doing. Thank you all for watching. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you all again. Also, thank you for the new follows. I got the new followers on all platforms. I appreciate all of you who's now following. Grace, love, and peace.